GSL. GSL Season 3.
Welcome back, guys. This is the GSL Codas. We've started out today with a fantastic series. So, guys, when you come down to our studio, you can participate in our various events. We have GSL coin giveaways. Come here, you get a GSL coin, make a sign, and we get it on camera. And basically, if you make a sign, we will get it on camera.
Yeah.
You get another coin.
That's right. And, you know, you can put your coins into a lucky winner category where we're going to do a drawing for some prizes at the end because, you know, obviously if you live in Seoul, come to the studio every day, you're going to have the most coins at the end. So definitely participate in that. And, of course, we have a winner prediction way for you to win more coins as well. Yeah, just go out into the lobby, and you're going to be able to take your picture with a little Polaroid that we have there, and you're going to predict who you think is going to win and write down your country and stuff like that. You can see mine and Tase's. We already did it.
Yep, ours are already on the wall.
That's right.
Today is the Aces Day. We have Aces Day today and Friday here at GOMTV. And, of course, we're very grateful for Aces to sponsor and support this event and support esports.
And, of course, we're giving away some cool stuff, a graphic card, some USBs, mouse pads, stuff like that. So PCs. Definitely come down to the studio if you can. If not, well, support Aces anyways, because they're awesome.
Here's our first player. It's Innovation.
That's right. No longer of Acer. Did leave if you missed the news. And he is now teamless. So we'll see what team ends up picking him up. But still one of the greatest Terrans in the world, no doubt about it.
Innovation is a guy who has been an inspiration to everybody here in StarCraft II. I was so blown away when he was doing these, not your normal SCV pulls, by the way. Yeah. We see a lot of these very mapped out SCV pulls from other players. He was pulling SCVs at very bizarre times, making it work. Other times after a lot of back and forth, you just look at the situation, calculate it, and say, okay, I win now if I just attack with everything.
And, you know, that meta kind of came back a little bit. It's not as much in the last couple weeks, but like a month ago or so, it was really, really big, and in between then. And that's how he got into the round of 16. Like, he crushed a bunch of nerds with SCV pulls and just really great play. Will he do that here against Stats? My gut is yes. This has always been a big part of his style.
Stats, his opponent, not seeming to be too confident coming into this earlier on today. Let's see how he actually plays, though. A lot of trash talk between these guys before the match in our group selection day. And a little bit of trash talk here today before we started our first best of 3. Again, the winner here is going to move on to our next match, face off against Party.
That's a tough one right there, Tasteless.
It certainly is.
This is a hard one to predict as well. Stats is a really solid, really strong Protoss. Innovation, of course, does very well, but, you know, not being on a team that does affect you. He practices mostly on the ladder. He said that countless times, but, you know, the ladder is a fantastic place to practice, and you can get ridiculously good and keep your scalp very high with it.
Sure, just look at here.
There's something to be said for being on KT. The team that Stats is on with people like Flash and Zest on your team.
Now, Stats, you may, if you only watch individual leagues, feel like Innovation overshadows Stats and reputation, but Stats is actually very good. Just as Sartos was saying, he's on a team with the very best of the best.
Yeah. And he's actually been one of the best Koreans for a very long time, but yeah, just not seen as much. Like, if I recall, he won some very stacked qualifiers, like back at the beginning of HOTS. He's never truly gone away. He's just, you know, there's been people like Zest and Rain that are so godly that you forget about Stats a little bit.
It's packed down here in our studio in Gangnam as we are now ready for Innovation against Stats, game number 1. In the upper right, one of the brightest Terrans of all time.
Innovation.
Currently teamless. I should say recently teamless, too. Just a day or two. In the bottom left, our Protoss player from KT, he is
KT roster Stats.
Is he typing?
I don't know. He was like rocking out on that keyboard.
I know. He was playing a rhythm game. The game was tabbed out there.
Not quite sure what I'm looking at here. Not the best Photoshop. That's like That's some real life.
Was that
Photoshop
actually
in there.
Xerxes' neck that the head was attached to?
It could have been. I'm not sure.
I'm a fan of Xerxes. You didn't see 302, right?
No, not yet.
It is the worst movie.
It's not the worst. There's worse movies than that.
It's pretty bad, Artosis.
I'm going to watch it for sure.
It's. You know what? I won't go so far to say it's so bad it's good. It's pretty.
Just straight bad.
Pretty bad.
You want to know the actual worst movie of all time? Because I thought I knew him before because I've seen some of the worst movies ever, like Atomic Train and Dance with the Devil. But
yeah,
the actual worst movie ever is Monuments Men, and it has all these huge stars like Bill Murray and like.
Wait a minute! I don't think I've even heard of that one.
Yeah, no.
What's it about?
You're very lucky. It's about a team of American art people put together to save the art from the Nazis in World War II. And
that doesn't sound like it would be that bad,
right? Yeah, no, it doesn't.
But as a premise, I think that's actually.
Yeah, no, I thought it was going to be good. Oh, was I mistaken? Oh, God, was I mistaken?
Now, okay, so we've talked about bad movies. Let's talk about the greatest movie of all time to recently come out was Pacific Rim.
That was a fantastic movie.
Absolutely amazing movie. A story about tasteosis, really.
That is true. Unfortunately, Tasis got eaten right in the beginning of it. It's okay though, because Artosis don't need no one to drive his Jaeger.
Artosis needs Tasis to come back.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the Kaijus are just going to take us all out. I actually got to watch the movie again, man.
Yeah,
the movie's really like so fun. So we have the command center about to finish, and the Nexus now has started up here for stats.
Yeah, very standard here.
Yep.
And
this is a build that gives Innovation a little bit of a heads up.
Certainly.
Or not heads up, a little bit of a lead. What am I talking about?
It's actually, the funny thing, like, for instance, if it goes straight from here with nothing strange happening whatsoever into an SCV pull versus a Colossus that takes a third base, like, Innovation actually has a very good shot of winning it there. So I always feel like in a position like this, stats, actually there's a little bit of an onus on him to get something done, get a little bit of damage onto Innovation, because otherwise, like, it's really hard to defend. It's just the little extra boost that you get with this Command Center First build is really scary.
Yeah. So Innovation off to a very good start here. We got the robotics facility coming along here for stats. So far, this is a pretty passive game from both players.
Yeah.
This is not a game we should see any real heavy action for a few minutes.
No, and in fact, I don't think we're going to see any real heavy action for a really long time, to be honest. Like, looking at a robo and a forge being made right now, looking at the fact that we don't even have a factory started from Innovation, the most we're going to see out of Innovation is a poke to get rid of one of the Nexus cannons. Like, that's the most possible action that we're going to see until there's Medivacs out and Colossus out.
So the tech lab's coming along now, and there's the eBay. This all lines up nicely with what we were talking about. They're going into macro games. We have Stim now starting here at that tech lab, and the scan here is going to confirm to Innovation what we were talking about, that Innovation probably not going to try to end this game anytime soon. This is a race that Innovation started out in a bit of a lead, simply because his build was more economical than Stats' was. Stats' build for starts wasn't a build that was aggressive enough to punish Innovation's opening, so Stats plays from a minor deficit from here on out.
You know, it's super common as well. Whenever you're going to go for just a regular gateway expand, Zerg or Terran are going to be ahead by going just for expansion before any production facilities. It's just kind of the way that it works out, but this is super safe for Protoss. So, at least Stats gets into that later part of the game where he's going to feel pretty comfortable.
We have the gateways coming along here. The factory's about to finish up, and when the factory finishes up, the starport starts up next. The observer's going to peek in here and to see exactly what's going on. Now we have a warp prism being made. I don't think we're going to see much aggression with that, but let's wait and see. We saw Parting do some pretty cool stuff early on with that warp prism.
Yeah, and
in fact, the starport's not even done yet, so maybe you can get in there and do some damage before Vikings can come out.
Certainly, and the War Prism can get away from Vikings pretty well if you're on top of things, so I like it. It's kind of like what we saw from Parting, so adds a couple more gates, but this is kind of interesting too, right? Because He actually didn't add Colossus Tech. He's getting a Twilight, and he's going up to 5 gates. So this is not the norm. This is not what you would expect to see right here out of Stats. And
this might be something that would be effective against somebody like Morrow, for instance, who tends to do so many drops. You could just jump on top of him with Blink. We have, I'm sorry, there's a Templar Archives being made.
This is, we don't see this build anymore. It looks like it's going to be Charge, Archon, maybe some Storms. He might go up to 7 or 8 gates and actually just do like an all-in, which is like a super powerful older build.
And it might actually work because Innovation's going for a 3rd base here.
Well, we don't see a single Widow Mine on the map.
Yeah,
we do not see any Widow Mine production. That's why we don't see this build anymore. It was super common for a long time, but Widow Mines phased it out completely because if you just make Widow Mines nonstop against this, you get a free win, but he's not doing that.
He got spotted with the drops, and he sees a 3rd. Now here comes the Warp Prism over here into the main. Zealots unloading. Not warping anything in just yet.
Well,
okay, so they also have a drop headed towards the Protoss's main. Let's see how effective this is. It went by the 2nd observer, too, so 100% Innovation knows that this is, or excuse me, Stats knows this is coming. So Innovation goes ahead and backs off.
Yeah, still kind of does what Innovation wants it to do.
Look at this, Arctosis. We have the 3rd Nexus being made here. Again, Stats will be playing from a minor deficit here, as he's just a little bit behind. But, you know, if you go for Zealot Templar, whether that be Templars with Storm or with an Archon, you can actually get a lot of damage done. It's really economical, that unit combo.
And look at this, Tasteless. He is just going straight into a 2nd starport.
Oh my god, he got the Warp Prism.
Ooh, that hurts. But he's going to a 2nd starport and already started Vikings, so he's just blindly countering what he assumes Stats will do because, again, this strategy you don't really see anymore. But he could get in a lot of trouble because of that. If you make a few Vikings against this build and you have no Widow Mines, you're not going to hold it.
Yeah, there's not a Colossus on the map, guys. Oh my god, this is going to get... Oh my god, he drove it out. That was a beautiful storm. A whiffed force field.
Yeah.
Like a whiffed stats field. Now Innovation's continuing to send more units down here. I got to say that storm, really, you got a lot of value out of that. Now he is making medevacs here. Now if he just makes medevacs from here on out, pretty soon here every infantry unit's going to have its own personal medevac.
Yeah, it certainly is.
Let's see. There's only 3 Vikings that were made so far, so not a ton.
It's quite interesting that it doesn't look like he even cares about Widow Mines. He thinks, oh, you know what, my supply is high enough. I've got what I need. I'm not going to actually die to something like this. And he is right in the fact that with this 3rd base being taken and without the extra gates added and the huge rounds of units when that 3rd was being taken, Stats doesn't have any sort of timing where he can run across the map and kill Innovation right now.
Sure,
so
yeah.
He's skipping out on that. He's going to, not overuse his starports right now, but instead get some ghosts to help deal with the High Templars and add some more Raxes so that he can actually continue his macro. Now, as soon as we see the switch into Colossus, which I do believe we will end up seeing very soon here from Stats since he is going to a macro-based play, we can see a ton of Vikings pop out just almost instantaneously.
With this army coming down here, let's see, how many sentries do we have in that army? Is there just 2? Yeah, there's just 2 sentries there. He does have Storm available. He does have actually a high amount of Immortals with this. Don't know if Innovation will actually attack in here or if he's just trying to keep the Stats stuck on 3 bases. Innovation could take gold coming up here, or he could take the upper left or the little bit south of the upper right.
Well, right now we do have that army coming down once again. He does have ghosts mixed into it. He has 3. I think there's more on their way, actually, as well. And that's more than enough EMPs if he lands them to get rid of Psystorm. And if he gets rid of Psystorm, this army should be able to kite properly against his opponent.
Okay, he's not going to be able to take out that Nexus, I don't think.
Maybe not yet, but
oh my god, feedback's there on the Ghosts. A few snipes go down here as well. And don't forget that Nexus, what am I talking about? The Nexus is pretty low on HP, but he did not end up taking that out.
No, he didn't kill it quite yet, but it is dangerously low.
Innovation, by the way, still maxed out. He loses a few Ghosts in there and immediately maxes out again. You can see Stats is itching to try to push out here. The 4th base is being acquired now for Innovation, so Stats does have to do something, and that something has to be done very quickly.
He's starting to push forward, but we do have a lot of Vikings on the way. If the Vikings can actually take out any Colossus that are in there, it just comes down to EMP versus, and EMP and Snipe that is, versus the Psystorm. So this could just suddenly go to Innovation if things go wrong for Stats in the next battle.
We have Stats backing up. Notice he's not able to occupy the gold base just yet. Some storms coming down, not the best so far. And Innovation with just so much. I mean, this is what, 200 supply to 157 right now.
An insane concave for Innovation.
He's actually going to just barely get that Colossus if he goes in again. There's another storm coming down here. These Immortals are being killed as they're on the run. Now, this is the hard part here for the Terran to attack into.
Oh man, a lot of these High Templars going down without anything cast. That's a really good one there, but you know what? It doesn't matter because all the Colossus are gone. Innovation pulling out a storm, running back in. Still 3 Immortals here to help out, but I don't know that that's actually going to be enough.
He's backing up, stimming right away. There might just barely be enough here for Innovation to tear through this. The next cannon's been activated, but this is a lot of Marauders. The Immortals are gunned down immediately. The Colossus is backing up. It's taken out. There's like, what, 5 Terran units here left, but it's... Okay, so he barely hangs on, Stats does, but don't forget, Innovation's expansion just finished at the upper right. All he has to do is transfer SCVs to get there. He's going to go ahead and regroup. That was not an attack with an SCV. Well, this is an attack with an SCV pull. The one before wasn't. So I was going to say he has plenty of workers here, but I think this is another great moment that highlights exactly what Innovation is so good at. I'm sorry, was that actually just a transfer, not a worker pull?
Yeah. I think he knows he's far enough ahead at this point that
I thought for a second
there's not a whole lot he needs to do. Yeah.
At this point in time, I think either way he could actually win, but it's probably safer in the long run to just do the SCV pull.
He took apart too many expensive units there. There's no way to rebuild all those expensive units in time. He's got his upgrades in the lead. He's got his bases in the lead, his economy, his units, his tech. Like, Innovation has everything going for him this game. Stats is in a very tough spot to make anything happen.
We see the engagement coming down here now. Looks like the Colossus is going to be picked off. Storm's coming down here now, but without the Colossus, just these Stalkers are not going to be enough. The Archons are not done warping in.
Yeah, that Terran army is just so scary if you don't have any Colossus mixed in there. Even a couple good Psystorms not making much of a difference.
Okay, the Zealots are going to come up here. That's the only hope is that the Zealots can tank some more damage. Oh, God, I spoke too soon. More coming down now. This is going to be game, man. GG.
Well played there by Innovation. Really interesting to see a completely different style from Stats than what we're used to right now.
Yeah, well, it seemed like a pretty bright play, but Innovation out-muscled it. He just had more units. He had better control. He knew when to engage, knew when to book it out of there. And, you know, it is sneaky to try to skip Colossi tech and hope your opponent makes some Vikings. But Innovation, don't forget, he was getting an expansion ahead each time in that game.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you get your opponent to make a few Vikings that you're not going to use immediately.
Yeah, like 2-3 Vikings isn't the big deal. If
it's marginal.
If he had gone up to like, 6-7, he's like pumping those out instead of medevacs, and Stats had decided to get aggressive, that would have been the perfect storm to let him, get in there and get those perfect storms and win the game.
Wow.
But instead, he went into that macro game and Innovation figured it out and switched it up.
Well, this brings us to game number 2 here. The map pick is going to go to Stats. I felt like what Stats did was interesting, but the execution of it was a bit lackluster. He's picking King Sejong Station. I'm under the impression that Innovation just goes for very standard play here.
I think you're probably right. Will he go for an SCV pull is the one interesting part of Innovation's game plan. Stats, on the other hand, will he go for that type of opening we just saw? Absolutely not, I would say. I'd be very surprised if he tries to go charge lot storm this game.
Well, good luck to Stats. Right now, Innovation looking very scary despite currently being teamless. And this game is loaded up. Let's go. Innovation against Stats. Game number 2 here on King's.